Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Rum and Cinema. Today we're going to talk about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, now playing in theaters near you. You can find us at youtube.com/@rumandcinema. We're also on TikTok, and you can find our podcast anywhere you love podcasts. Make sure to subscribe to us and listen to all new episodes as they arrive. Nate and Jake are joining me today as always. Nate, how are you?
I am so pumped to talk about an excellent... Well, I guess it's not really a Marvel movie. It's really Sony Animation, so that's tough.
You almost had it.
But excellent movie.
Definitely. Jake, how are you?
I'm doing great. And speaking of you almost had it, you almost had the movie title. This is Across the Spider-Verse, not Into the Spider-Verse.
You idiot.
Moron.
Apologize.
So today, we're going to talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in theaters now. We're also going to play a game where we talk about one-star movie reviews. And, of course, give you a recommendation at the end,
Ew.
like we always do.
The very end.
The last thing we do, just like every episode.
Like after the game, after everything else.
Every episode we've ever done. So, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Let's open up with Spider-Gwen is our introduction to this movie, which is fun. And we get to see her fight the Vulture, which was a cool choice. And I loved, right away, the animation style got me. I love the Renaissance style and the like Leonardo da Vinci type drawings and stuff, and all the weapons match the era. That was really cool. And he was going through an art museum, like immediately just like sucked into the movie. I really liked it. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, this isn't a real critique. This is just like something that I thought was odd. But like, so literally in that first scene, you know, the way he's animated, and Gwen calls him out. She's like, "What are you supposed to, from some sort of Da Vinci dimension?" And he says yes. And I'm like, how would he know what that even means? To him, that's just his dimension, and he wouldn't understand her reference.
But doesn't he know Da Vinci? Isn't that the whole like concept?
But the universe thing, he'd be like, what am I doing? He'd be confused.
But if you're lost, like, you know where you're from.
If some cartoon popped in and we're just like, oh, you're from, well, this isn't great as soon as I say it, because now we watch these movies, you're going to be like, yeah. But if you got transported into a dimension that was like medieval age, and you're just like, oh, this is some kind of medieval dimension, they'd be like, what are you talking about? I think it's just
like people in the medieval dimension don't know that they're in a medieval dimension, because for them that's the norm. So they don't have the concept of what medieval means.
So like you can't smell the shit on your knees kind of thing. You know what I mean?
What?
I don't think we needed an analogy, but
it's an old Marilyn Manson lyric that probably isn't good to use anymore. Not because of the lyric, but because of Marilyn Manson being a shithead. But yeah, you can't.
On his knees too.
You can't see the forest for the trees, and you can't smell your own shit on your knees is the line. It's like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? If you're in it, you can't really notice it.
Speaking of lyricists of a generation.
I think my explanation, Jake, is that they're just playing very fast and loose. I thought you were going to say, because it was making me laugh while he was doing it, that like he's speaking Italian and like switching between Italian and English, and then occasionally he makes some. He just for landing a better joke, he acknowledges things that are very much like do not make sense for him to know.
You guys on TikTok?
They say something like, yeah, basically, yeah. And he's just like, at one point, I can't remember what they said. They've said, you're basically like this or that, and he's like, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. And like that doesn't make any sense for that character, but
for the movie, I think it's perfect. Like I love it for the movie.
Like this world, just, like, doesn't like the only thing that's gonna make me upset with how fast and loose they're playing with the universe is if they try to integrate this with the real live action MCU.
But they did.
Like they made references, but like if they actually try to bring it over to that serious tone, because this is so like no one gives a shit tone.
I see what you're saying. Like if like a
which
tonal
is
clash.
very it's very Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All the Spider-Men are down with this.
Except one, which we'll get to. So Spider-Gwen's dad is a cop. Fucking ACAB. And she is best friends in this universe. So she's the Spider-Man in this universe, and she is best friends with Peter Parker, who in this universe turns into the Lizard, which I thought was a cool little thing. I don't know any Spider-Gwen comics, so I don't know if that's like normal.
That's like the normal canon from the comic books.
Nice. So Spider-Gwen or Peter Parker turns into the Lizard. Lizard attacks a bully at school. Spider-Gwen's there to save the kid, but in the meantime, Peter Parker gets crushed by a bunch of stuff and dies. So the dad blames Spider-Gwen for it and wants to find Spider-Gwen, not knowing it's his daughter and not knowing like what actually happened. Classic cop. Is
Coming down hard on Gwen's dad.
just cops, you know.
I know.
I fully support it.
Blue lives. And
Black suspect seen leaving.
Let's wait till he gets a load of miles.
Oh, he's fucked. So Spider-Gwen's dad wants to find Spider-Gwen. That's kind of the conceit of that part of the story. And then there's, during the Vulture sequence, we see a portal open up and other spider people show up. It's like Spider-Man 2099 and Lady Spider-Woman show up.
Just Spider-Woman.
Yeah, I was going to say Lady Spider, but wasn't quite it. And they are the keepers of the spider multiverse, which is an interesting thing to note, that it's not just the multiverse. They're the keepers of the spider multiverse. So there's like this intertwined web, if you will, of Spider-Men across the world. I am currently camera switching to both of you for that one. And and the so these spiders are there to like get spiders who are jumping into other multiverses back to where they should be. And this is all from the first movie, which I thought the way that the plots of these movies are going to tie together is awesome, and I'm here for it, and I wish more things were like it, especially knowing that Miles Morales' story is done after the next movie. Like, they're not going to make another one. I think that's smart and a way to do it, especially in today's culture.
Yeah, someone drew like a really great comparison between this and the MCU and why it feels so good and tight, and talking about the like very improvisational tone of the MCU movies, how they do like reshoots and like really rely on the actors, which kind of came out of like, you know, how good Iron Man was with where they did that. And they were like, you know, that works for Iron Man and it works for some of the like, I don't know, better characters, but it really like drags for these like played out, these long storylines where everything's just kind of going all over the place. And kind of pointing out this is an example of something where they clearly like planned the 3 movies ahead of time, and it's like really paying off for them. It doesn't feel like random shit's just happening.
Yeah, I totally agree. I am concerned with the timeline that's been given out by whoever released this, Sony, I think, or Marvel. They said this movie took 4 years to make, and like the spider chase scene took 4 years, like full 4 years to get done, and
that makes sense.
Haley Steinfeld was recording audio for that long, and they're like, "Oh, the next movie is going to be out in like less than a year," and I think they were like,
I assume they're doing it at the same time.
But everyone who's a part of the movie,
I hope they do delays, but
everyone who's a part of the movie is like, maybe.
Oh, they're expressing concerns.
I think that's what I read. Yeah, like the Millers.
I mean, I could see it being more focused, like just how the first movie was a little more contained. Like we had the characters from the multiverse, and this one exploded. Like I love seeing that, but it doesn't. I don't think it really makes sense for the third movie to like go back to the Spider Hub and see all the crazy stuff. I feel like it's going to be focused on the conflict and like the 12 characters we have.
Spider Hub's a weird porn website, by the way.
Was it Spider Hub?
Yeah, Spider Hub, you said. You said Spider Hub.
I'm into Spider Hub.
Oh, we know.
The, I don't know. I feel like I agree with Nate. You need, you need the core spiders, all the cool ones that they introduced. Maybe you bring in a couple extras, because at this point, you can bring in any cool Spider-Man you want. Oh, and they clearly showed they're going to bring back the ones from the first one. The Weeb one and the Pig one.
John Mulaney's cool again. Let's bring him back.
John Mulaney needed some time off.
Yeah, he needed to get a spiderweb problem taken care of, and then he was able to come back. But yeah, Jake, I think you're both right.
how good would coked out Spider-Ham be though if he was recording his life?
I feel like we saw that. That has to be.
Oh, like we line up the timeline. That's very
Yeah,
possible.
we definitely saw that. Yeah. Why the fuck else would it be a pig? He was like, "Listen, I got an idea."
Whoa, Spider-Ham has his own comic books.
Now or
They
before?
didn't make that up for the movie. Before.
The
Spider-Ham's
fuck?
a whole thing. The comic books are weird, dude. You're just now seeing how weird comic books are. The MCU's been toning it down a lot.
No, but like I've read comic books, but I just read like the normal ones, I guess. I don't go into the deep lore of Spider-Man.
I haven't read Spider-Ham, but Spider-Ham was around before this movie.
I would also make the argument that there's no such thing as normal comic books.
Damn, that was deep.
No, I'm just calling out nerds. Nerds love to be like, well, I'm not that, you know. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's
no,
true.
You are.
They're always got to be like an outcast or something, or different. So Spider-Gwen is now introduced to the multiverse of spiders with Spider-Woman and Spider-Man 2099, and now her job is to go along with them and help capture spider people that are popping into random multiverses of Spider-Man people, because that's happening after, which we don't know why it's happening yet, but it's a cool way that they tied it. So then we go to Miles.
Yeah, there was some... Yeah, we don't know. I was just saying, before we go to Miles, like, the other thing with this fight scene, oh my god, like, I don't remember exactly how many action scenes there are in this movie, but, like, from the get-go, that was what I was excited about, too. Like, I'm glad the plot held together and how good some of the characters were, but the big set-piece, like, action scenes were so incredible. Like, all the spider people doing their spider people things and, like, doing them differently. 2099 is laser webs.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
Just seeing spider people like do things together is really fun.
Yeah, they were all unique, and yet they were also all spider people. Like,
Yeah,
You
and
know,
like with their spider sense, they like are like preternaturally good at working together.
Oh shit, yeah.
It's really fun to watch.
And they were not all spider people. Yeah, spider T-Rex. That was fucking sick.
Oh yeah, we were gonna get
oh,
there.
I thought you were talking about Spider Horse.
Oh yeah. Why does he wear a mask?
Oh, don't forget Spider Cat.
Oh yeah,
You would.
Well, why does he wear a mask? To hide his identity.
So Miles, we're introduced to Miles back on Earth 6210 or whatever Earth he's on. And he's chasing a guy called Spot, who is kind of a buffoon trying to rob an ATM through some holes. And he mentions to like Miles, like,
Some holes.
you're the reason that I am the way I am, and like that's my skin, and like he blames Miles for everything, which we find out later is completely true. And Miles calls him like, you know, the villain of the week, and ties him up, and comes back and tells his buddy, hey, make sure to call the cops on this guy. And the way they introduce him, you're like, oh, this is a throwaway character, that's kind of cool. But then he becomes the big bad for the whole movie, and it was awesome how they did that, and really fun.
I wasn't expecting that,
Agreed.
and at first I wasn't sold either because I didn't like him.
Yep.
I didn't like Spot. I'm
Really?
like,
You didn't.
no.
You
I'm.
didn't pick Jason Schwartzman's instant charm.
I was like, I don't.
loved him.
I wasn't a fan of the I'm a buffoon, and I thought the Spot thing was just like not a gimmick, but kind of like a gimmick that the animators wanted to just have fun with, because you know they did have a lot of fun coming up with, you know, in that first fight
all
of
the
like
different-
just weird wacky things that were happening.
Yeah.
But then for a
It's
while
great
when it,
for animation, it looks
Yeah.
it's great because you can. Obviously, they could make that in real life, but like it would be much more expensive, and they wouldn't do as cool shit.
But so for a while when it was like sort of clear that he was going to be the main villain, I was like disappointed. But he grew into it well.
Yeah, he was able to like...
weirdly well, honestly. It's very he got good really fast.
Yeah, when Spider-Man has like some of the coolest like rogues gallery to choose from, and they pick someone you've never really heard of, and you're like you hear them mention the Sinister Six in the background of one of the worlds, and I was like, oh god, I really want a Sinister Six movie, and like animated could do it so well, but then I didn't care because the spot was so
Definitely getting it
good.
in the next movie.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna start off in that world. I think we're gonna see the Sinister Six. I don't think they're gonna be like the big bad, but I think they're gonna be part of the movie.
Oh, like an intro scene like with the Vulture. That'd be sick, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just gonna spend some time in that world, and like the Sinister Six are gonna cause problems.
Is Prowler part of the Sinister Six ever? I don't know enough. Or if the Sinister Six is like Miles Morales' version anyway. Because it would be Peter as Spider-Man in that universe. Oh no one's Spider-Man in that universe, which we'll find out later.
Right.
So we see Miles, and Miles
Spoilers.
Miles is living in his life, doing what he does, and he's doing teenager thing, not even teenager, like 15-year-old things, trying to get to class on time, missing meetings with his parents and his counselor and all this fun stuff, and he can't tell anybody why, and his parents are starting to get suspicious that he's doing something, and he's late getting some cake for a captain's. His dad's become a captain of the police force, and he's let go to that, and then they ground him, and then Gwen shows up. So let's get caught up to there with anything you all want to talk about that.
One fun thing, the counselor meeting. Taylor had avoided all trailers for this movie. I had seen a few, so I knew. But we saw the counselor's face, and Taylor was like, "I hope that's Rachel Dratch." I was like, like before she heard her voice, just like they captured Rachel Dratch in the counselor face.
They did great casting. Andy Samberg as the introspective, I'm going to talk about everything Spider-Man. That was hilarious and will be hilarious going forward. Oscar Isaac is Spider-Man 2099, I believe.
Just killing it in everything he does.
Yep. Now we just need who would you cast Pedro Pascal as in the next movie? Maybe Green Goblin in the Sinister Six in that one world?
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway.
Got the Scorpion.
Oh, Scorpion would be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Miles and Gwen see each other again. They haven't seen each other since the last movie ended, which we don't really know. I don't remember being told how long it's been, but some time has passed.
1 year and 4 months.
So we are told. Okay, thank you.
Just had that ready to go.
Yeah. He looked at my notes and was like, this bitch is missing something. So, yeah, a year and 4 months and 6 days.
It's stuck in my head. He said it. No, he literally said, "I've been Spider-Man for a year and 4 months."
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's important or why, but yeah.
How many months is that? 16?
10.
Did you say 10?
I did my math wrong.
What the fuck? All right, so...
Cut this part out.
No. This is the short right here. I edited that perfectly. I'm a little switcher.
And I'm thinking, this is from the guy who hates it when they narrate,
Expositions for losers.
Yeah.
1 year and 4 months.
When it's Spider-Man, it's
It's canon.
When it's Spider-Man, it's okay. I stand by that. They showed us comic books in the movie.
It's true. That was cool.
Every time someone narrated, they dropped a comic book. Yeah,
well,
they made it cool.
Like in a comic, they give you that little under the bar thing, and they did that a lot in this movie, which was interesting, which was nice. Like a little hey, you know what's
the little
going on.
Translators notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the editor. I loved it when he said he's got hammer space, and it popped up too fast for anyone to read.
Yeah,
but that was explaining what it was. I was like, trying to see it.
This movie is going to be a lot like Super Mario, I think, where you're going to pause a lot when you're at home watching this, so you can interact with it and see what's going on.
You can go frame by frame in this. This is the densest movie in terms of visual Easter eggs in existence. Just saying that right, call that right now.
But it doesn't feel like fan service either. You're not heavy-handed about it, or
it goes so fast. They don't care. They're just it shows they cared so much. They made something like 180 Spider-Man for this movie.
Yeah.
And some of them are just gags, 1 second gags.
Have you seen the story about the kid who made
parked car?
Yeah, that was good. Have you seen the story about the kid who made the Lego version of the story in the movie? So the Lego bit, there's a Lego Spider-Man that they go through for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a kid last year, or when the first movie came out, he's 14 now. When the first movie came out, he made a Lego trailer of Spider-Man, the whole Spider-Verse trailer in Legos. And they hired him to do this part. So he was the one that actually did the Lego part in this movie, which is awesome. So
That's
badass.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Some Lego expert. That cracked me up, though. The Lego.
Yeah. That was so
Well,
good.
it brought me back to, whenever there's a multiverse that does it right. It always brings me back to Nate complaining about Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And so when I see the Lego one or the Da Vinci universe, I'm like, yeah, these are the universes Nate wants.
Yeah, you don't just need to like throw random colors.
We got to see it for more than half a second.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
A universe isn't random colors over someone's face as they fly through like 10 different scenes. It's like a whole world of
some universes are.
Okay, yeah, that's fair, but not all of them. You know, I like how each one had like a theme, and you could tell that like it fit the theme, and like the Spider-Man of that universe fit the theme, and like it was almost like a story behind each one of them. I know there wasn't probably, but it felt
that's
like
what you want. You like it doesn't even have to be that long. It just has to be a hint of like this is a real world instead of just this is a cool Windows screensaver.
Yeah, this is the new plugin for DaVinci Resolve, so we're gonna use it. So Gwen shows up, and Gwen is hanging with Spider-Man, but we see her kind of doing Miles, and we see her kind of doing, who is Spider-Man, I guess.
Getting a little suspicious.
Yeah, doing little things, leaving stuff places, and you see her kind of following Spot, maybe. So Miles follows Gwen one night. And was this all the same night? Like they had a fight, she left, and then came back, and then it was all the same night, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was like the Chiefs celebration, or captain. And, captain? Yeah, captain.
Yeah.
So he follows Gwen and sees her follow Spot to Spot's place, and then she has this like rewind, like DVR live technology where she can just like TiVo everything and see what's going on.
Convenience.
Okay, whatever. I mean, it's an animated. I'm sure it's canon, Nate. Dig. So
it's literally Jarvis.
Yeah. I mean,
Jarvis.
I don't Spider-Man 2099. He's probably got cool shit.
Yeah, I mean, they're traveling multiverses, first off, you fuckface. So, like, who cares what the rest of the movie's doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so some universe has that technology, all right?
Yeah, give it up.
That's all you need.
So they do the rewind TiVo thing, and they see that Spot had all this power from an explosion that Miles started. And Spider-Woman comes and, like, radios Gwen and is like, hey, you need to come back. Like, we got to go get this guy now. Are you taking care of it? And she's like, yeah, I got it. And then she said, did you see that guy? Or did you see him? And Miles knows, like, she's getting in trouble for seeing him. And, like, the other spider people don't really seem to like Miles. Like, the head of them don't really seem to like Miles.
Yeah, I was definitely confused about that while the movie was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a couple of hints for things that, like, okay, Miles is clearly was not invited for a reason, and Gwen's really awkward about it, and tries to tell Miles, okay, well, it's not like this whole big thing. It's this very niche, elite kind of thing.
And it quickly unravels.
So, yes.
So, Miles follows Spider-Gwen, and they go to Mumbaton. Is this the next place they go? Moonbatten, yeah. So it's Manhattan, but Mumbai. And it's awesome. The music they chose is awesome. The visuals are fantastic.
Everything about it.
Yeah, you really got
it. Yeah, that was probably the coolest setting, I think.
And today it was
best Spider-Man. I'm calling it.
Today it was announced he will be an unlockable skin in the next Spider-Man game on PS5, which is cool and makes complete sense. So they go to Mumbatten and they chase Spot, and Spot's taking them all through the city, and then Spot sets up the classic, are you going to save these people, or are you going to save this person dilemma? So the Mumbatten Spider-Man is holding a bus with his Gwen in it, and they see a captain trying to save a child with a falling bricks or building, and Gwen gets a notification that says, like, a canon moment is about to happen, which Marvel, like, I don't know, most like story fans know is like a canon moment is like something that's supposed to happen in this universe. Like, it's canon to Spider-Man, like we've talked about in this podcast already. And she tries to stop Miles from going to save the chief, the captain, and the kid. And we think it's because it's dangerous, because like she doesn't want Miles to get hurt. Like in the story, that still makes sense. And he goes and does it, and then the world starts falling apart under them, and all the other spiders show up and try to like save the world. And that's when Gwen and Spider-Man and just those two get called back to HQ to go hang out with all the spiders.
There's also
All right, I was saying we
Hobie.
got to go back now. Yeah, I was gonna say, and Vince, I forgot the actual coolest Spider-Man.
Go for it.
I was gonna wait until Ben was done to say, because
Yeah.
I almost said the same thing when I said that that it was the coolest setting. I almost said he was the coolest Spider-Man, and I'm like, no, he's
Hobie.
the second
No.
coolest
Was
Spider-Man.
Hobie in
Oh
Moonbaton
my
or not?
God. He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's I skipped him because I didn't think he was there yet. But yeah, okay, let's talk about Hobie. Go for it.
Yeah, because when the Spot does like locks himself in the collider, Hobie shows up and helps out.
That's right. The whole point of
Spider-Punk.
Spot being there is to get to another collider that turned him into Spot. He's trying to do it again and again, so he turns into a full Spot. He has like all the power of all the multiverses in one person. Yeah, which is a really cool. I mean, a great concept. It's his canon. Go and do it every time.
It is a great like villain for a multiverse movie.
Yeah, it's so well thought
It
out.
was a great choice.
All right, so Hobie, go ahead and have at it.
Hobie is animated fewer frames than every other character in the movie. I don't know
Someone
why,
figured that out.
but it's cool.
Because it's just choppy. It's punk. Like his animation looks like he's cut out of rock posters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Do you know who played him?
Again? Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Daniel Kaluuya,
Yeah.
who is in like
Yep.
every Jordan Peele movie and is awesome. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah, it's one of those things you're gonna have to watch it again at home and be able to pause it to catch all the funny shit that he says.
Yeah.
But I loved what I heard. Just like cracking jokes about the anti-establishment. When the giant hole comes out, like the end that you got to, where the black hole is happening, he says something about being a metaphor for capitalism.
Yeah.
The Cockney slang.
Yeah.
That was one of the editor notes. Is when he says, "I don't have a Scooby Doo."
Yes. That was
So
a good
good.
Do you know?
translator note.
Do you know who played Paviter Prabhakar, the Peter Parker of? It was.
We recognize his voice in theaters.
It's the guy from Deadpool, the like Uber guy from Deadpool, that plays him, which is awesome. Not just great casting all around. I think that was really well done. Obviously, like Mahershala Ali as Uncle Aaron from the first one, Brian Tyree Henry as the dad. Yeah, it was really good. So, Hobie is awesome.
Issa Rae was Spider Woman.
Oh, that's right.
Rap shit. I think I've recommended. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that's a good show. So Miles and Gwen are now in HQ, and we get introduced more.
Oh wait. I forgot that
Go.
was one other thing I had to call out. There's so many great digs and jokes in this movie relating to like MCU and Sony stuff. Like Spider-Man 2099 says something referencing referencing Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But the most subtle one that I'm not even 100% sure that it is this, but I think it is when Gwen is telling Miles about the crew, and she's describing Spider-Man 2099. She says like he's kind of like a vampire, but he's a good guy. And Miles says like it's like a good guy vampire. I'd pay good money to see that. I'm pretty sure that's a direct joke about Morbius.
Oh, it has to be. It
But I'm
has
not
to be.
100% sure.
That's so perfect. Oh my god, I love that.
They managed to tie in every Sony Spider-Verse thing in here.
Yeah, they went to the like bodega in Venom that they visit all the time. I thought that was a really cool touch. Donald Glover showing up as Prowler from
Yes.
The-
That was.
Holland universe, right?
Yeah, from Homecoming.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Which is like so great because it's like Donald Glover dresses as Spider-Man. People make a campaign for him to be Spider-Man. That kind of like leads to Miles Morales, and then they give him a cameo in Homecoming to like apologize for not making him Spider-Man, and then he shows up in Miles Morales' movie.
Yeah, it's so good.
So
It's
Yeah.
beautiful justice. Yeah, and he plays Prowler in the Holland version of the movie. Like that's his character, is uncle to Miles, which is really cool. So we are now revealed why Miles is the enemy number one of everyone in the Spider-Verse. So we get explained the Spider-Verse by Spider-Man 2099. He talks about how he tried to be in a different Spider-Verse and things just started blipping. And you get that a little bit in the intro, like Miles is blipping a bit and he has this day pass, they called it, which is like a Livestrong band that you wear so you stay current in the universe and are okay. That was a nice little touch. So we find out that Miles Morales' Spider was brought there by Spot, the guy who was originally Spot. And Spot brought him there from a different multiverse because he was working with the Proton Collider and figuring out how to do multiverse stuff. So the spider that bit Miles was not meant for him. So he was not supposed to be Spider-Man. So he becomes Spider-Man, and his Peter Parker dies in the first movie, trying to save Miles. And he takes over for him. And then Spot is the guy that gets hit in the head with the bagel in the first movie, which I forgot about, but then I was reminded of it, and I was like, that was such a great scene, too. Like, how smart to bring that up and, like, tie everything together so well. Like, such a memorable moment that you might have forgotten about, you know? That's kind of scene. It was really well done. And then Spot, on the day that the Collider exploded because of Miles, Spot was created. He was in the room when it happened. So the whole reason that there's this multiverse issue is because of Miles, and Miles is not supposed to be Spider-Man, and that's why every Spider person hates him, or doesn't hate him, is just like not friendly with him. He's not invited to Spider HQ, which we find out is like every Spider-Man in the multiverse, not just like this elite group. And Gwen was trying to like save him from that. I think Gwen was trying to be like nice about it, and she ends up like betraying his trust, which is kind of an interesting thing. It's like she did to Spider-Man what she does to her dad, but it was like a different reaction to it, you know, hiding things from him to be safe kind of thing.
So I'd point out two things. One is, so Spot, you know, he hates Miles Morales, and he, you know, that's his whole driving thing is, you know, I want to get him, and I want to get stronger so I can beat him and this and that, because he blames him for becoming Spot, but
I don't know.
I think
he hates him for not taking him seriously. I think he was excited the first time they met.
Yeah. But he's not happy about how he looks.
No, because he went on his diatribe about how he thinks, you know, like, oh, I lost my face, I lost my friends, I lost everyone I love. So he definitely holds resentment because he's like, you turned me into this is your fault.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But it's really not.
Can I pause you for a second?
It's not his fault. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Do you think he poops from any hole?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, I was like, I would have said, like, he's like this weird multidimensional being, but later he does eat something.
Yeah.
I remember he's like, when he's trash talking, he eats something at one point. So, yeah.
Or he does it as a bit. He just, boop.
Humans do this. So you were saying,
but
yeah, go ahead.
It's his fault.
It's
his fault that he's Spot because he blames Miles for causing the explosion, but it's his fault that Miles is Spider-Man.
Oh.
It's also Kingpin's fault because if he hadn't brought Spider-Man in, then Kingpin would have just blown up their world.
Yeah, I don't know. It's and obviously he's a villain, you know, but his reasoning is definitely flawed, I think, on multiple levels, you know. It's like and like if a building is falling down and I push someone out of the way and they scrape up their knees, is it my fault they scraped up their knees?
Yes.
Like, you could say, yeah, but it's also like, well, no, it's the building's fault for falling down.
Well, okay.
It's kind of that. It's kind of that thing
buildings.
to me.
To go back to Nate's point, Kingpin would not have succeeded if Peter Parker was the only Spider-Man in the universe, I think. Because Spider-Man would have stopped him. Because that's how Spider-Man works.
Spider-Man died. Kingpin killed Spider-Man.
Because Miles was there.
Because Miles was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But I get your point. Like, your point is valid. Like, yeah, that's you could go all the way back to like Miles' parents when they had sex that one day 15 years ago, 16 years ago. That's when. Or, But yeah, I think immediately
it's your parents' fault that I'm on this podcast.
Yeah.
I do blame them.
It is. They listen, so they're gonna enjoy that. So Spider-Gwen and Miles are hanging out in the HQ. Miles is getting yelled at, and then the truth is revealed about canon moments. Canon moments have to happen to every Spider-Man. They make everybody go together. And when Miles stopped the canon moment of Moombaton's, I just love Moombaton instead, because that sounds like Moombatan, the like music style. It's
No,
way better.
I think you're wrong, and you're just blatantly sticking
You
to it.
just have, yeah. You're just having trouble.
Moombahton it's a music genre. Like Dylan Francis does Moombahton music.
You could be lying, and I'd have no
We
idea.
wouldn't know.
Yeah, well, I'm going to show you after the podcast, obviously. But so
I'm gonna
Moombahton.
call it Moombahton music.
God damn it! No, there's an H in it in the one on actual like music. Anyway, Moombahton, Spider-Man. So basically, what happens with Spider-Man is like someone close to you dies, like Uncle Ben moment, and then or like something bad happens to a family member because you didn't stop somebody that you should have. Like that Uncle Ben and letting the bad guy go away and then he kills your uncle, that kind of thing. And a captain of police close to you or close to someone close to you is supposed to die and you're supposed to lose Gwen eventually is like what happens to all of them. And Miles Morales stopped the Moombahton Spider-Man from having that moment of the captain dying because he was trying to save that child. So they're pissed at him for that too, and he breaks the canon. And Miles Morales thinks about it and he goes, my dad just became captain. I need to go save him. And that's when they lock him up. Spider-Man 29 locks him up. And the other Spider-Mans start to be like, whoa, what's going on here? Some of them do. Gwen and the original, like, schlubby Peter Parker from the last movie are like, come on, bro. Take a break. Take a break here. And then Miles has to break out and go save his dad. And that's where the movie should have ended, but we go for another hour, so we'll keep talking. But catch us up on what happened for in between where we just talked about.
All right. In between where we just talked about is mostly just seeing all of the different Spider-Men.
Which is cool.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But tough on a
hard
podcast.
It's going to be hard to like recap them all. Yeah. Well, there's some fun in there.
Yeah.
One thing, I didn't immediately realize that was Andy Samberg because I thought it was Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
I
Same.
think I told Taylor, I was like, that's either Andy Samberg or Andy Samberg doing his Nicolas Cage. And then Web Slinger, which is the Western Spider-Man. I also thought that was Nicolas Cage or Andy Samberg doing Nicolas Cage, and I was like, it's only one of those two, and I don't know which one it is.
Did you ever look?
Which then it turns out is Taron Killam?
Taron Killam.
Yeah.
He, the SNL guy, who I still hold was doing a Nicolas Cage to be for Web Slinger, but I just heard a lot of Nicolas Cage. I was looking for him, but it turns out he wasn't any of them.
I liked it.
He's one of them.
Yeah, he's
Well,
he's just not in this movie.
By nature of the multiverse.
Yeah, he was
That's
he was
fair.
too busy making Renfield or something during this time. Yeah, what else?
Oh, so many good. I wasn't even mad. I think I don't know if we talked about it, but like the only, because I was so pumped for this movie, the only thing that made me nervous was the scene they showed in the trailer where he's like, "Get Peter Parker," and they all do the pointing joke again.
That was so
And I was
funny
like,
though.
oh, don't do that.
It's so
But
funny.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
It passed in this movie. Like they pulled it off.
You're so into the movie by
I
that
th-
point that it worked. Like they could have done
Yeah,
no wrong
like,
at that
I knew
point.
it was coming, and I was still okay with it.
I think the only reason I'm upset is because they put it in the trailer.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have
Like
been funny
if it had just been in the movie and I wouldn't have known it was coming, it would have been hilarious.
True. I think I didn't remember it in the trailer, so I genuinely laughed really hard when I saw it.
One thing that they also showed that they had was a device. Oh, first of all, there's a spider person that's like was an avatar. That you know it was like a technical genius. Definitely crushing on Miles a bit.
Yeah.
But
and
then
living in an abusive household. Just
yes,
brutal.
yeah, that was kind of, you know, they sort of implied that and then kept going, and I was like, all right. But then they have this device that, you know, because their whole mission is to capture mostly villains that, you know, get in the wrong universe and send them home. And they have this device that scans your DNA to figure out which universe you belong in and then sends you home. Again, just one of those convenient, you know, we need this for the story.
Probably
We
canon.
have the technology.
Spider Tech.
Yeah, he has Bruce Wayne level money and technology. Who is
Also, the Spider Hub, Rick and Morty did it first.
damn.
Oh shit. I mean,
Yeah.
arguably the comics did it first.
Damn.
There's literally there is a council of Reed Richardses in the comic books.
Arguably, the 12 Apostles did it first. The OG.
Like, there's actually like a Rick and Morty-esque like council of Reed Richards with a citadel in the comic books, where there's like all kinds of Reed Richardses.
But it's way more boring.
Okay, and where's the good Fantastic Four in cinema? Nowhere.
That I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you.
I couldn't think of a more
This
boring
movie
person to be
actually
surrounded
makes me-
by hundreds of than Reed Richards.
This movie actually makes me hope like the next, which it's not obviously going to be, but like that I bet the first really good Fantastic Four will be animated.
100%.
I would love an animated Fantastic Four movie in the MCU, because that's how you do this intergalactic shit.
I agree. I like that idea. So we find out all this stuff about HQ, and Miles breaks out and finds a way to get to his universe again. Okay, we just skipped over like the best fight scene for like 20 minutes. But
Who's we?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I already like I forgot to say during the Mumbattan that was the other incredible, like we're 1, 2, and 3, like the museum, the Mumbattan save, and then this are like the 3 big action set pieces, I guess.
Yeah, they're really
and
good.
they get more complicated. I don't know which one's honestly my favorite, but all 3 are incredible, and they're all getting more intense. Like they're kind of like easing you into how insane it's gonna get.
Yeah,
Because the last one is a little like sensory overload. Honestly, like I loved it, but again, I was like, I wish I could.
Yeah.
I wish it would slow down a little bit because so much is happening.
Yeah, there's no chance that even in 10 watch throughs that you could catch everything in that scene.
agreed.
But yeah, I loved the Mumbattan building falling scene for, again, the Spider-Man cooperating. Like they're all arguing and fighting the whole time, and then as soon as the Spot like takes the building down, they go into instant cooperation mode and just start saving people nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really fun to watch.
The other thing in the big, so Miles is captured. He wants to get back to his home dimension, and so he's escaping. All the Spider-Men are chasing him in that scene. The like I love it when you see like all the tandem activations of the Spidey sense
Yeah.
just constantly. That just plays so well when because when Spider-Man is against Spider-Man, you have to
yeah. How do you
it's
fake
like
out
okay,
Spider-Man?
he has spider sense too, so
Damn.
Yep.
he's uniquely equipped to fight himself.
Damn. What a metaphor.
Yeah, except the one Spider-Man who didn't get the spider sense when Miles was on his back.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
So I was thinking about that because
Peripheral.
spider sense is for danger.
Ah.
Yeah, I know.
So
Unknown
danger.
danger.
It's not unknown. Well,
At the time, it was unknown. Like when he was on his back, he didn't know that Miles Morales was escaping. So at the time, it was not danger to him.
but it wasn't danger. Miles Morales meant him no harm.
But it was danger if he knew he was looking for Miles Morales and someone, like if you know someone's escaped in a building that you're in and someone jumps on your back, that's danger. Even if you, if you don't know who it is.
See, I don't. So I think if you're Spider-Man and you're looking for a criminal and the criminal's trying to get away, I don't think you would get Spidey sense because the criminal's
with
posing no threat to you.
But he was a criminal already. So wouldn't you get the Spidey sense while the crime is happening? And then you could like, I don't know, is there like a Spidey scent trail or something?
Saying if I like robbed a bank and I'm running away from Spider-Man, Spider-Man can't track me by Spidey sense because I'm not trying to hurt him. Spidey sense is for like physical threats.
Yeah, he's only gets the Spidey sense if there's like imminent danger.
Oh, yeah.
And since Miles was just trying to sneak out, he wasn't trying to hurt anyone. There was no danger, and so there was nothing to sense.
That's smart. You're a smart guy. That's why you're here. I like that. 0-3 in the last 3 movie games, but that's more luck than anything.
0-3. I swear it's worse than that.
I was
Several.
0 several.
Hasn't won a game this year, and this has been our best year.
Wait,
No.
you have. You definitely have.
You absolutely
I've won a
have
game
won
this year.
Yeah.
People comment last time Jake won a game.
Damn.
But
This guy's learning the YouTube algorithm. Let's go. Yeah. So
if you can remember.
So Spider Miles Morales is escaping from all the other Spider-Man. There's a really cool moment on like this rocket ship going up into the universe, and they fight Spider-Man 2099 and
Definitely
him.
a tram.
Whatever, Nate, it's going up. Who cares?
No, I'm not.
It's a space elevator.
Yeah.
It's a space elevator at best.
Okay, it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory's elevator. Fucking move on. It doesn't matter what it is. So
What I want to know is what that train is doing in the Spider-Man. I feel like probably like in the comics, you probably, if you read those comics, you know what it is. But like, I want to know what's going on there. They're just taking a train straight up from the planet.
Who's the Spider-Man of that universe? Do we know?
I think it's
It's 2099, isn't it?
That makes sense. Okay.
And then they just built the hub in the empty shell of a universe.
Oh, right, because everything went to shit. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Is that, or was it not? It's just back to his home universe. I think he just caused like an incursion and then came back.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's his home world.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because he went to a world where he died and tried to live in his place, and then it blew up.
and that's the world. That's the universe that got wiped.
Yeah. Because there are people there. It's not all spider people in that universe.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when he breaks out and he's like the cars, there are people in those cars.
That's true.
You think that's the safest universe?
The one with the spider hub?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably until that day.
Yeah. Like criminals are terrified. Like a criminal pulls out a gun in the bank 30 miles away, and like 40 Spider-Man just appear.
No, they wouldn't appear because it's not danger to him. You assholes.
Danger. It's
No,
physical danger. It can be other people.
Okay, so if Miles Morales is the bad guy and they're worried about him being armed and dangerous and there's an alert going off, why would you not have the... I'm saying like...
He's not trying to hurt
because he's
anyone.
not armed and dangerous.
But if you're told
He's
he
trying
is...
to escape.
But if you're told he is, and an alarm's going off...
Spider sense is a deeper level than that.
Your spider... Oh, you
you're,
guys are
you're
stupid.
you're not thinking about Spidey sense. You're thinking about Spidey white fright.
Okay, Spider-Man can respond...
As soon
Oh,
as Miles lands.
you're saying... Action, so you're saying like in the heart of every Spider-Man, the reason that the spider sense didn't go off is because they knew Miles Morales was not doing something bad, even though it's going to break apart the Spider-Verse and ruin everything for everybody.
Well, we don't know that it's going to do that necessarily.
But do you think
This
people
is
who...
purely Miguel's...
But do you think people who follow him think that that's true?
I don't think it matters if the spider people think there's danger or not. I think the spider sense is just tuned to, is there actual imminent physical danger?
So then every Spider-Man on that universe should go and be like, I didn't get a spider sense while I was fighting Miles. From Miles. Isn't he good? Maybe we should just let him do this, and then the whole thing should be over?
Well, I think that they're just having this is my honest, serious answer. It's a differing of philosophy about whether they have to send everyone back to their universe of origin. Like that's what they're there for. That's their mission. And the Spider-Man there have bought into it. That doesn't mean that they all know that it's like danger. They just they're like, our job is to put people back into their respective universes.
Actually, yeah, I think I would agree with that. From my viewing of the movie, I would say even though there's hundreds, thousands of Spider-Men there, most of them probably don't know about the whole core events thing.
Also, Miles going back to his universe, he wants to disrupt a core event for himself, which is risky, but it's not like causing an incursion like Miguel did.
No, I think he said it would, didn't he? Like that's the whole whole universe fell apart.
Up enough canon events,
he's quite sure it would.
Happened.
Yeah, we saw
Another
Moobiton
thing
fall
that-
apart because the core event was skipped. So like Miles already knows
That's fair.
like what could happen.
But also later, Gwen skips a core event. It hasn't happened yet in our discussion, but Gwen skips a core event and nothing happens.
True.
I
We don't know yet.
I put money on him. Yeah, I put money on him going down next movie.
Like walking out of the fucking apartment and air conditioning is going to fall on him or something. Save a kid
I think
and
Miles'
get
dad
killed.
survives, but Gwen's dad doesn't.
I don't think Gwen will either.
Gwen's live a hard life in the Spider-Verse.
I think Gwen and Gwen's dad will both die at the same time.
Ooh, I don't think Gwen's dying. This movie's still PG. Come on.
But it's ending the Miles universe. Like that'd be an
Yeah.
interesting way to do it. Miles has to live every incursion. He has to lose. That's the captain he loses is Gwen's dad.
that would work. Captain Stacy is usually Gwen's dad. He could lose a different Gwen's dad.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. So they run away, and Miles goes into the little DNA thingy, and he goes invisible because that's one of his powers, which is cool. He goes invisible, crawls around, turns on all the computers, and then Avatar Lady tries to stop the thingy from going, and no one can really see who it is yet, but she has this like heat vision or something that shows her it's Miles. And Spider-Man 2099 runs in, all the other Spider-Men are in there trying to get him to go. You need to stop him, stop it. And she's like, I can't. And then a screen comes up and you see it says yes or no to stop everything. And she looks at Miles and Miles looks at her, and then Miles disappears and she doesn't click it. So she like was on Miles' side, at least we're led to believe that. And then Miles' DNA is scanned and he gets sent back to a universe that's his universe. And he goes and finds his house, and he's in there, and he's talking to his mom, and things are a little weird, and then he mentions his dad, and she kind of brushes it off, and I've been trying to take care of the two of us, and then his uncle walks in, and what the fuck? His uncle's supposed to be dead. Yeah, and then his uncle, which we know is Prowler, and he knows something is up because Miles' braids are out. He said, why'd you take your braids out? So Miles and the uncle leave, takes him to a little area, and knocks him out. And then before he gets knocked out, we see a picture of the mural that we see earlier in the movie to his uncle is now to his dad, who's passed away. So in this, he's not in his universe. When he was scanned, they scanned the spider DNA, which fused with his. So it went to the spider that was meant for Peter Parker's in that universe. It went to that universe. So this universe has no Spider-Man. So it's just this dingy, scary, overrun place. And then we see Miles get spun around by his uncle, tied up to a punching bag, like a tall punching bag. And then we're revealed that Miles in this universe is the Prowler. And there's no Spider-Man. And Miles is stuck. And that's, again, where a movie could have ended. But they kept going.
That's pretty much the end. Come on.
The only complaint I have is this movie felt like it was ending for about a half an hour. Like it
definitely was. But
it could have stopped earlier. But I did like that they tied up all the stories and gave them each their time. But you can't really balance that the way that I want it to end, which was just because I knew there was a second one coming.
I agree that it should have ended at that. Like, Gwen assembling the team didn't have to happen. I feel like that was more just to get people back in the theater.
Yeah.
Like, just to show them, look who is coming back.
Yeah, we basically saw like the first 15 minutes of the next movie, which I will appreciate when the next movie comes around. But for this movie, it was like, you could have done that as like an online only release thing. That would have been kind of cool to try that. But yeah. Anyway, so how did you feel about that portion of the movie?
I mean, loved it. I love where the story's going.
Yes.
I'm very interested in like how the two Miles are going to interact. Because like I think that's gonna twist on like what we would expect. Like I think they're gonna end up working together in some way.
That I agree with. I think the uncle might be the Universe 42 uncle is gonna be an adversary.
Yeah.
But he's gonna convince Miles to his side.
I agree. And the Sinister Six, hopefully.
I think we'll definitely see them, and I hope they look really different from the Sinister Six villains we got in the first movie. There's like so we've had a couple variations on Doc Ock. We've had a couple variations on the Scorpion. I hope we get like a new set.
Yeah, like Rhino.
Sinister Six are fun to play with.
Like who would be good in a animated movie? Like Mysterio would be really good in animated, even though we've seen him recently. Rhino would be really good in animated. Shocker would be really good.
Pretty much rounded out the Sinister Six with those.
Green Goblin,
Electro, Rhino, Green Goblin,
Mysterio,
Doc Ock, Scorpion, and Mysterio.
Yeah, Scorpion would be really good in animated too. Spider-Man's made for animation to me though, because I grew up on the Spider-Man animated show. Like Batman, there was at least like the Batman movies in the 80s, so you can see a live action Batman. Superman, same thing. But like Spider-Man to me always felt animated, and because of that, I don't think that's making this movie better for me, but I like what they can do with it, and it feels more fun and like what I expect from Spider-Man.
I think it is. Like, I'm not gonna hate on the like original Spider-Man movie. They did some really cool like web slinging, but like Spider-Man fights are so much better in animation.
Oh yeah, because it's impossible to do them otherwise. I feel like without money or bones breaking.
Yeah,
I think
they
it's
almost killed Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, true.
Like, trying to do stunts for that movie.
Yeah.
I think it's also harder to do a live action movie and do the you know how Spider-Man's always like witty and joking and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you do that in a live action superhero movie, you kind of roll your eyes.
Yeah.
You know, if you do the exact same tone from Miles Morales Spider-Man in the live action movie, I think you'd get complaints that it's cheesy or
You need a very talented, charismatic actor to pull it off. Like you need, Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man 1. You need like that level of perfect casting for it to pull off. But when you're right with animated, you can overexpress. You can make the jokes physical easier. More takes, obviously, with the voiceover. So yeah, that's a really good point. So Gwen, we see her go back to her. She's expelled to her universe because they're all in trouble, and she loses her the bracelet. There's a bracelet that lets you time hop. Okay, we didn't talk about that earlier, but that's how they go to these different universes. She loses her. She gets hers taken away and goes back to see her dad, and she sees her dad sleeping on the couch, and she starts to leave, and then he has a conversation with her, and then we have a really heart-to-heart about showing to your parents who you really are, and like how hard that can be and how vulnerable a moment that can be. And he opens up to her and says, I missed you, and I don't want to be a cop anymore, and I'm quitting. I'm gonna go do security or whatever. And he has a package that was left by somebody, and we see Hobie's little time dialer Apple Watch thing. So now she can go and get to other universes because Hobie's a rebel, and he quit. We see him quit during the fight. So that was really cool to see a nice little tie-up for her. So she goes off to other universes and starts recruiting all of Miles' friends from the first movie. We see the Noir one. We see Spider-Pig, like the whole cast from the first one, basically, and a couple from this one, including Moonbaton.
Penny Parker in her upgraded suit.
Yeah,
Gungan.
That was cool. So, I mean, they set it up really well for the next movie. I am excited for it.
I also thought it was weird because in the fight, when Hobie dips, he opens up the portal, and then he clearly abandons his wrist thing and then walks through the portal. So he has to have a couple stashed or something.
So I didn't notice this. Someone pointed it out. He, in the background in the movie, is like grabbing pieces of tech the whole time.
Oh.
Like there's one where they point out, the first one where he goes, but this doesn't even do anything, and just pulls off like a microchip.
Yeah, that's true.
He's in the background for basically the rest, and he keeps grabbing little things.
Okay.
Like throughout every background scene.
Okay.
That's cool.
He's still a genius.
So him going through the portal when he quits and leaving his thing behind, that was all just a performance.
Yeah.
Well, and
because
exactly.
He's not actually leaving it behind. He has several spares.
Yeah, it's very much on purpose to be like, I didn't do it. I didn't give her the thing. What are you talking about? I gave mine up. You have.
Kind of undercuts it by putting punk spikes on it.
Well, you got to make it your own, even if it's borrowed or stolen. That was Spider-Man. Any other last words on the movie overall, or any other plot points you want to get to?
When did you call the twist at the end of him being in the wrong universe?
Oh, I was just completely shocked.
Obviously, in the movie, they
shocked.
super played it. Like,
were you?
They did.
I was shocked up until him and his mom started talking. That's when I started to figure it out. Was when they told me it, basically. Yeah, I didn't catch it. I would not have caught it earlier than that. How early was it for you?
Oh no! When they introduced the DNA scanning machine, I leaned over to Taylor and I said, "He's going to end up in the wrong universe." At the end.
Damn, you guys are good.
I thought that too.
No, I didn't think that at all. That was good.
They were really. I mean, obviously, in retrospect, but they were making it clear that the 42 Spider. They kept showing that. And,
yeah.
But I did love, like, I love when they do that in movies, when they showed, like, Gwen and Miguel and Spider-Woman, like, closing in on his apartment from the outside, and so you don't know, if you don't see it coming. They play it like, that's always fun.
Yeah, and then
I like when they do that.
Yeah, and then Spider-Gwen goes in, you're like, oh, there's nothing in there. Fuck. Like, she's in the wrong one. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Would you recommend this movie to people?
100%.
Hell yeah.
Best movie I've seen so far this year. Best multiverse movie this year.
Best multiverse movie other than Everything Everywhere All at Once of all time, probably.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a tight competition. I still like Everything Everywhere better, but it's tight. Oh,
I think
I did not see this, but apparently there is a movie theater in the background of this movie that says something like "all the stuff, all the time." All the places or something like that.
They funny.
Very much are paying their dues.
Hell yeah. So, what would you drink with this movie? I had Capri Sun because I felt like a kid again, and that was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Ooh. Some Sunny D.
Bruh. Oh, the Sunny D seltzer that's out now.
No.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty good.
Following on Snap.
No, he just comes into
I was
throwing.
on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, that was good stuff. Yeah, one of our friends tried it and really liked it. Said it was good. So, yeah, that's what I put. That's my pick.
Chai.
Chai is like, oh yeah, that's it.
Ooh.
Damn, it's chai. Should I put chai tea?
That was funny.
To be a dick.
Chai tea.
Yeah. See if people get it.
So rude.
Chai.
That was a funny little bit too, because you had the Miles bit where he's ranting about ATM machine.
Yeah.
And then
it's like, oh yeah, you're also Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's so good. You're so right. It's like a mirroring moment for those two. That was perfect. Damn, good point.
Yep.
I love that. Well, that was our review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. You should go see it. It's incredible. And we had a great time.